Welcome to the Paranormal Stakeout radio TV show with Larry Lawson. As a former career law enforcement officer and law enforcement educator, Larry focuses on the use of tried and true law enforcement investigative techniques in conducting paranormal investigations. Despite his experience and training, Larry also keeps an open mind to discussions on topics that deal with evidence that are not quite as physical in nature. Paranormal Stakeout guests are professionals in the field of the paranormal and parapsychology, conducting the investigations and research needed to further the cause of paranormal study. Larry advocates an agenda of standardization of structure and training in the field of paranormal investigation and research for the purpose of one day being able to produce the evidence needed to convince a jury of the existence of the paranormal. Whether it is ghosts, UFOs, unsolved mysteries, hauntings or cryptids, no topic is beyond the investigative reach of Larry Lawson and the Paranormal Stakeout radio TV show team. Now, here is the host of the Paranormal Stakeout radio TV show, Larry Lawson.
And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Paranormal Stakeout. I'm your host, Larry Lawson, coming to you from beautiful Vero Beach, Florida, the home of the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation and Indian River Hauntings. Got a great show tonight, but got to take care of some housekeeping first. First of all, if you'd like to follow our team, follow what we're up to, you can always check us out on our Facebook at either Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation or Indian River Hauntings. You can also get us on YouTube at Indian River Hauntings. We've got a lot of our stuff up there. And our website is IndianRiverHauntings.com. That will get you to both of our sites. Now, one of the things that we're trying to do on the show is get some audience interaction. So I'm really encouraging you folks out there, send me questions, thoughts on the paranormal, anything you'd like. And to do that, you get a hold of us at this email address, ghostguy@paranormalstakeout.org. From there, you'll see a form, fill out, give me your thoughts, your comments, especially if you have questions. And we actually have a question tonight that I want to bring up because I want to do this at the beginning of each show, share some stuff or answer some questions from folks out there that are listening. And this comes from Mike in Okeechobee, Florida. And his question is, what are your thoughts on mediums and paranormal investigators collaborating on information to come to a conclusion on an investigation? Wow, that's a pretty deep question, and I'll try and answer it as briefly as I can. And you got to keep an open mind in this business. So therefore, any bit of information that you have, you've got to put together to come to a conclusion of what you have. Obviously, when you're working with a medium, and it's very tough to sometimes quantify information they have, but if you can take the information they provide and information that you may be gathering in an investigation and do your historical research, many times you can find the answer and find the connection between the two. I think it's really important to use all methods, all tools when investigating a case. So certainly collaborating with a medium is very important, but don't take it just on its own. You've got to do your historical research and put together other facts to come to the proper conclusion, because that's what we're about, our facts. So with that, I'm on to our guest. I got a great guest tonight. His name's Eric VANDERLAAN. Eric is with War Party Paranormal out of West Palm Beach, Florida, a neighbor just south of where I'm at. Eric is actually from the island of Oahu. Yes, he was born in Hawaii, but he's lived in South Florida since he was about 8. And he's been investigating the paranormal for about the last 12 years. He initially had been part of a group called PRISM about 9 years ago, and shortly after that, became part of War Party Paranormal. He's a technology expert. He's very good at using electronic equipment to gather and collect evidence of the paranormal. He's also been on the media quite a bit. He's made appearances on television shows for Telemundo, Univision, and America TV. So with that, I'd like to welcome our guest tonight, Eric VANDERLAAN. Eric, how are you?
Thanks for inviting me, Larry. I'm doing great.
Good. Well, it's been not too long since we last talked, but I'm really excited to
No,
have you
not
on
at
the
all.
show. You guys have been pretty active down there in West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
But I'd like the audience to kind of get an idea of who you are and where you're from and what's your background. So share a little bit about you with us.
Okay. By the way, I like that question. That was a really good question.
That was a good question.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, you know, it's like everything else in this business. You've got good and bad, and you've got folks that do it right, folks that don't do it right, folks
Yeah.
that maybe exaggerate. Using a medium can be important, but you got to do it the right way, and it's got to be through a
Exactly.
team.
And
But
it's another tool in my tool belt.
there you get, and we always want to have that. So tell us about Eric VANDERLAAN.
Okay. So, like you said in the bio, pretty much spent most of my life in Florida. I'm actually a health insurance broker.
Okay.
By day, paranormal investigator by night, and I've been doing this for quite a while now. I actually live near Miami, Pembroke Pines area, if anyone's familiar with that. I'm the team leader of War Party Paranormal, so pretty much I'm doing everything for the team.
Okay.
But yeah, the main purpose of War Party Paranormal is we're a non-for-profit group. We're in the business of helping people to get answers that they can't answer. They might have problems in the paranormal in their homes or businesses. And then we do events like you, Larry, all over South Florida. And basically we do it because we want to get our name out there and know how people can reach us. So a lot of the cases we get are people coming to our events because they want to meet us in person. So on top of that, I just came out with my partner, Mike Del Coro. You were on our show with War Party Paranormal Radio. We're now on Paraflix, and we're streaming episodes of our paranormal investigations. And right now they've been all over Florida.
Outstanding. Well, we're going to mention at the end of the show too, but right now, tell folks how they can find you and learn a little bit more about you and your group.
Sure. War Party Paranormal, the easiest way to find us is go to our website, warpartyparanormal.com, and everything is linked to there. My personal stuff, I go by the handle of Ghost Hunter of South Florida. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and yeah. And then we also have the Haunted Files, a show that we just started on Paraflix, and that's on Facebook and Instagram.
Excellent. Now, you're born in Hawaii. Now, I know you moved here when you were just a kid.
Yeah.
But got any good stories from Hawaii?
The thing is, when I was young, my dad got transferred a lot. And so before I was 8, or probably like, I don't know, probably like 11 years old, we used to move like every 2 years. So this journey started in Hawaii, but I've lived all over. I lived in Texas, Tennessee, Ohio, but mainly my whole life in Florida.
Well, I got to ask you, because I'm really fascinated with some of the spiritual stories, ghost stories that come out of Hawaii. In fact, I think I even mentioned on this show once before, law enforcement for many years was really quiet. Nobody talked about this stuff, but that's changed over the last 15 years or so.
Yes, it has.
And one of the things that has always interested me was Honolulu PD put out an entire series of video shows. It's on YouTube, Haunted Honolulu PD or something like that, where they actually featured their officers telling of paranormal experiences on the job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is really, I think the show stopped being filmed a few years ago, but you can still see on YouTube. Fascinating stuff. And it just goes to show you how much this whole field has opened up. But how did you get into this field? How did it, moving around like you did and things, how did you end up getting into the field?
Well, I got into it as a skeptic. I've always been fascinated with things of the unknown. You remember the show In Search Of? It used to be my favorite show with Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy, yep.
So it all started out with that. And then when Ghost Hunters started being on TV, I started watching that show. Loved the show, but always was curious, like, is that really real? And I always wanted to go on a paranormal investigation. So I used to dabble a little bit myself. You know, we're in Florida, so we're close to many haunted locations as like St. Augustine and Key West. So basically, when I was with Prism, I was on one of their events, and I went up to the director, and I just asked him, like,
Mhm.
"Hey, I would love to go on investigation. I'll carry equipment. I'll do anything." And before I know it, I was on the team. So, yeah, that's how I got into it as a skeptic, and I'm not a skeptic anymore. That's for sure.
Well, you say you're a skeptic.
It's good to be a
Explain.
skeptic.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
Because you not only do you have to have an open mind, you've got to be able to discern appropriately. But
Right. Mhm.
tell me what you mean by being a skeptic.
Not believing in what we're seeing out there, like full body apparitions, disembodied voices, um, just like anything that has to do with the paranormal and ghosts.
Mhm. So you were a non-believer. You weren't just a skeptic. You were a non-believer when you started
Right.
this.
I thought like, okay, it could exist, but I've never experienced, and I'm always one that I have to see it to believe it. So yeah, I've always been fascinated with that. So once I got into it, I just got more and more into it, and things started happening.
What, any particular incident that kind of flipped the switch for you?
Well, I don't know if you remember the Women's Broward Correctional Facility that down here in Pembroke Pines,
Oh yeah.
out there by 27.
Hmm.
Um, the most well-known inmate, the most people might be familiar with this Eileen Warnos. She was in the movie
Yeah.
Monster. She was
Yeah,
a
one of the few
women
women serial
prostitute.
killers. Yeah, one of the few
Exactly.
women serial killers in history.
Yeah. So she was locked up there, and it was the first time I've heard a disembodied voice. So that's what, like, where the
Ah,
alarms went off. Yeah. And I didn't
okay.
believe it because I'm a type of person, my brain can't register it. And I'm like, there's
Mhm.
got to be an explanation. There's got to be something else going on. And my friend, my buddy heard it, and he said, I just heard a woman's voice. And I'm like, there's got to be someone outside. There's no one around. And then the next day when I looked at the video, sure enough, there was a woman saying hello in a high-pitched voice and giggling. Really wild.
Really? Now, just do you still have that tape?
I
Because
do.
oh, excellent. See, that's what I
Yeah.
want to.
I
That's what I
save
want to
that
hear.
stuff.
Yeah, and that's the sort of things that I want to talk to you a little bit more about in your work with the War Party Paranormal. But believe it or not, we're just about ready to come up on our first break here in just a second.
Okay.
So, folks, what I'd like you to do is stick with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Eric Vanderlaan. And once again, they can get a hold of you where at warpartyparanormal.com, right?
Correct.
Okay, well, we'll bring that up again in just a few minutes. So, folks, stay with us. We'll be right back after these very important messages here on Paranormal Stakeout. See you in a minute.
From the Canada-US border in the southern region of Niagara, traveling north in Ontario's Golden Horseshoe, then east and west of the Greater Toronto Area, there is growing awareness and excitement as more and more people are starting their day with Beautiful Mind coffee, the delicious healthy coffee that your brain will love. Made with ethically sourced 100% Arabica coffee, Beautiful Mind coffee is roasted and ground in small batches to ensure each bag contains a wonderful full-bodied artisan coffee. Scientifically formulated, Beautiful Mind coffee is the only coffee blend that contains 3 herbal ingredients found to aid in boosting your daily mental clarity and focus. Maca root powder, green tea extract, and American ginseng have been selected for their ability to support good brain health. Taking care of your brain's health now can help delay or prevent the onset of cognitive dysfunction, including dementia, Alzheimer's, and more general memory loss as you get older just by enjoying the delicious flavor of our roasted coffee and herbal ingredients found exclusively in Beautiful Mind coffee. Beautiful Mind coffee is now available at Amazon.ca and soon to be available in selected locations near you. In Hamilton, Ontario, Beautiful Mind coffee is now available at Livelong Wellness Clinic, located at 189 Hewson Street South. Beautiful Mind coffee can be ordered by telephone by calling 416-436-3675 or 905-536-2450. Why have a good cup of coffee when you can have a great cup of Beautiful Mind coffee that's good for your brain? For more information on Beautiful Mind coffee, Visit us online at www.beautifulmindcoffee.ca.
And we are back on Paranormal Stakeout with my guest tonight, Eric VANDERLAAN. Fascinating stuff, Eric. I'm really intrigued how you got into the business. So many. I'm one of those that did not have an experience as a child.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like you did.
No, I didn't.
So and so often I hear, yes, when I was 5 years old, I saw this. That not me. So it's kind of interesting to chat with somebody that entered it as an adult like I did.
Mhm.
So we're talking about War Party Paranormal and Prism also. I love asking this question to fellow investigators to kind of compare notes with what's happened to me.
Mhm.
Most exciting piece of evidence you've ever gotten,
The most exciting is
and you
probably
could,
at first was that disembodied voice, was I captured that on
yeah,
video camera.
yeah.
Um, Other than that is I've captured other, disembodied voice, but the wildest things I caught a disembodied voice filming with my camera on my phone. That was, like, the oddest thing. And people,
What?
you can get EVPs and disembodied voices on the video camera on your phone.
Oh, sure you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. People don't realize it. I got to admit, I had a bit of an issue with that myself because it's not a specific piece of equipment to do that. But phones
Right.
nowadays can do so much. Our crew got probably the best EVP we ever got in the old school in Fellsmere. You've
Mhm.
been there, right? And we got little boys. We call him Billy. We don't know if that's his name, but that's what we call him. Actually, responding to one of my guys that said, "Do you like to be in this room?" Clears a bell, little boy. Yes, sir. On there, and so
Oh,
you
that's
and that
amazing.
and that was on a phone. So
Oh, okay. That's
so
great.
yeah, you can get that. So
I've had
uh,
my name called out on cue, but on a recorder, but I
ye-
believe it's because I frequented the place so many times. I believe
mhm.
that you build up relationships with these spirits because there were people at one time.
I've actually had that happen. The last investigation was kind of quiet, but the several before that, my name keeps coming up too.
Mhm.
So yeah, I agree. And if we get a chance, hopefully we'll have enough time. I want to talk to you a little bit about your thoughts on going to some of these places too.
Sure.
Any case that's particularly perplexed you?
Probably when we were investigating the Gold Coast Railroad Museum down in Miami.
Hmm.
Um, we get a lot of activity there when we were going there. And just seeing shadow figures, like I saw my most well-defined shadow figure, and it just blows my mind away. It was just the full arms and legs, and this was during daylight. Um,
Oh, okay.
I was in the maintenance room that used to be part of the old hangar that used to be part of the naval base back in the 1940s. What happened there was they had 3 big hangars that stored blimps, 6 of them in each hangar,
Mm-hmm.
and a hurricane came by, and one of the blimps caught on fire, and the whole thing blew up. So they still have remnants of the original hangar, like the rooms on the side, because it's sort of like a dome shape, and they're made out of
Hmm.
brick. So during the day, we were in one of the maintenance rooms in part of the original hangar, and off to the side is the bathroom with the window, and I can still see like into the bathroom where I was facing, but I can also see ahead of me. And I see someone walk by with like arms, legs, and everything. And I don't know. I couldn't register it. I'm like, there's got to be a reasonable explanation for that. I chased after it. I mean, the bathroom is really small, so there's no one
Hmm.
anywhere can go. And then right when I saw that, we actually had a journalist. She writes paranormal stories that was with us. And she said, someone just went like this on my face. And she was showing it to me. I was looking at her cheek, and you know how like women wear blush?
Hmm.
I could see like part of the blush was missing, like someone ran their finger. It was really odd. And I do have a picture of that too.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Was this Opalaka by any chance?
No, this is down in Miami. You know where Zoo Miami is?
Yeah.
If you
Okay.
go all the way down south to 152nd Coral Reef Drive.
Okay, you're down because I know there was another naval in Miami also at Opelika, so I was just
Yeah.
wondering if it was the same one. Um, of all the places you've gone, I know that you guys are active, and I'd like you to kind of expound on some of the other things that places you're involved with down there after this question. But um, most active spot.
The place that you almost went to with me, Belglade Correctional Facility. That was the most active spot. Every single night we went there was always something. I miss
Yeah,
it, but now it's gone. They tore it down, but the area could still be, having activity around it, you know?
that close to getting it. Yeah, that would that would have been quite the investigation. So considering this, I know that War Party's involved in several other properties down there. Tell us a little bit about what you folks do, because you not only do you investigate, but you help share these experiences with others in the community. So tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that and where you go.
Yeah, actually, we do a full out investigation and you get to be a part of it.
Hmm.
Um, where we have all the equipment, you might witness something happen right there on the spot. And we do locations throughout South Florida right now. We have what's called Yesteryear Village that's by the South Florida Fairgrounds, and it's a living historical place. They have a collection of historical buildings that were going to get demolished throughout Florida, and they rescued them and brought them all to this location to where it's like a village now. I mean, they have
Hmm.
a church, they have a school, they have a fire museum, they have a pineapple processing plant. But the most infamous building there is the Riddle House that used to be a formal funeral parlor down by the West Palm Beach Cemetery.
Hmm.
And the story there goes is that a cemetery worker was accused of stealing and was upset and went up to the third floor attic and hung himself. And the spirit still remains. It's pretty wild. We get a lot of EVPs, a lot of intelligent evidence from there. Actually, it was featured on Ghost Adventures in their season 1.
Hmm. And I find, and I'm glad you mentioned Yes to Your Village, because how to explain this? It's almost like an anomaly to me, because one of the things that I talk about a lot is oftentimes it's the land, not the property.
Hmm.
But in this case, these buildings were brought in to a
Hmm.
new spot, and what's ever there came with the building. So
Exactly.
I find that kind of an interesting twist to that. And these buildings all came from not from the same spot; they came from different areas. Correct?
All over Florida. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
weird because, like, I always talk to the security guys, like, hey, anything interesting happening lately? They see shadow figures all the time. I
Hmm.
had one guy there that what they were doing like a Seminole Indian War reenactment there, and they caught a picture and he showed it to me. I wish he would have sent it to me, but it's a shadow figure of a lady in like a Victorian time dress, and it's like shaped perfectly. It's
Hmm.
pretty wild.
What's your purpose for doing this? Why do you? I mean, we do it up here, as you know, in Fellsmere and different spots in Indian River County. But why do you guys do this? Why do you put on these programs or these events?
Well, we want to help people. That's our passion, the paranormal and helping people. These events are a good way to let people know what we do. It's the best advertisement that you can get. And a lot of these people that do have something going on in their house, a lot of people think they're crazy. They don't want to talk to someone over the phone. So a lot of times they come to our events. That's how we get a lot of our residential cases.
So when you say you're helping folks, you mean what exactly do you mean then in that context?
Well, if they believe something paranormal is going on in their place, we'll go there if we determine that it's worth an investigation, and we'll do a full out investigation and try to see what is going on there, try to find the answers for them. A lot of
Okay.
times it's just a reasonable explanation that they never thought of.
Yes.
But then there are some times that there is something going on, and we do have people that can cleanse and do blessings, things like that. You remember Tim Yancey, that used
Yeah.
to be on
Yeah.
our team. He's a pastor, actually was a ranger.
Yeah.
He recently passed away. He was
I did not know that.
the one that was our go-to person for doing cleansings.
Tim was a terrific guy. This is the first I've
Hmm.
heard of it. I'm very, very sorry to hear that. I know that he was sick, but well, I'm very, very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, great
Do you,
guy.
do you ever worry with cleansing and things like that about getting it wrong?
Yes, because you got to be right about it,
Hmm.
and you got to do it the right way. And if you do it the wrong way, you can make things worse. Also, when you're doing an investigation, you got to be careful how you do it because, like, if these people are in the house, I don't like to have any of the people that ask us to go there around when we're doing it because even if we get something, we may not think it's paranormal, but they might be freaking out. Like a lot of time, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the recorders, the DR60s,
Yep.
Panasonic DR60s.
Hmm.
You get a lot of static in them, and sometimes it could sound like someone angry and screaming, and that could get someone, very frightened that way. So we like try to do it in the scientific method, and if we can't figure out what's going on and we do determine there's something that's menacing there, um, that would be our next step is to do a cleansing.
Do you guys ever worry about going to a house and maybe the person, and you may actually vet this up front, but perhaps there's other issues going on, such as mental health issues,
Yeah,
uh,
it's happened before.
substance abuse type of
Yep.
thing.
Hmm.
How do you manage to vet that? How do you fix that or find out about these?
Well, it's not only we're paranormal investigators, even though we're not professionals or licensed, we're almost like counselors. Um, if and when something's off and it's not paranormal, it's something else, whether it could be mental, it could be drugs. We're straight to the point. I mean, we're not going to shy away from anything. If we believe that there's a drug problem, they need to get help.
Mhm.
We're going to tell them right off the bat, and we're going to be honest with them and try to refer them to someone that can help them. That's a professional.
Do you do any of that vetting up front, or is it just as you go, as you're doing the investigation, you figure it out?
Yeah, as you go, because you don't want to jump to conclusions. We would try to save everything towards the end once we conclude the investigation and then determine what is really going on there.
Mhm. Yeah, see, I do it a little bit differently. My crew, we actually go through a questionnaire up front.
Oh
Just,
yeah, we do that
just,
before we even see them. We have a
yeah.
telephone interview where we go through a series
Okay,
of
okay.
questions. But a lot of people aren't honest about it.
No, really? I'm shocked.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but
Just like our
vetting is,
last case.
and I get worried about that too, because we don't want to get ourselves in a position where and you say making matters worse as far as maybe creating more of a problem there. But sometimes if somebody's got mental health issues, you can make it worse in their own mind and they think the problem's solved and it's not. And it comes back and there may
Exactly.
never been a problem there. But
Mhm.
believe it or not, we are about to come up on our next break. So when we get back, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about your thoughts on evidence, how you collect it, what you do with it, and what you're trying to accomplish with it. So,
Okay.
folks, stay with us. We're going to take a break here for just a minute for our sponsors. Stay with us, and we'll see you in a minute.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
And we are back on Paranormal Stakeout with my guest tonight, Eric VANDERLAAN. And interesting conversation. I love hearing stories from other investigators and hearing what they've encountered also. But I'm a big evidence guy. I'm a cop. That's what I do. I collect
Exactly.
evidence. I go to trial and things like that. And I know that you have a passion for collecting that evidence too.
Mhm.
Tell me about tell us about your procedures, what you do, and what you do with your evidence, and how you go through it, how you save it.
We save them electronically in folders. Anywhere from our notes when we gather information to maybe photos of evidence, EVPs. Actually, we're filming all the time when we're doing our investigation because we want to catch something on camera. If you to me, if you experience something and you don't have proof of it, then it
It
never happened.
didn't happen,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah,
Exactly.
basically that's what I do. And I've been doing that, I don't know, way back. So I like to save all my videos. I put them all into I organize them by location and I just keep adding to it.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you keep it on your computer?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah,
I got
I
a
did
backup
that.
drive.
Yeah, well, see, that's
Just in
what I
case.
do. I put it on. I download it, and then I put it onto a thumb drive, and then I put it into a lockbox. It's once
There
again
you
the
go.
cop in me, the evidence room, so to speak, just so that I've always got it. How many years of evidence do you think you've collected? I mean, you've been doing it for about 12. War Party's probably been around that long before you even came up.
I probably been doing it maybe I don't know, for 7 years.
Mhm. How accessible is what you have for other groups? I come up to you, hey Eric, I had this occur. Did you have anything similar to that in one of your investigations? Do you have a way that another group could see that, or you could share it with them, or even to find something that's similar?
Yeah, a lot of times, a lot of the stuff I have is on my Google Drive, so I can whip it out on
Mm,
my phone,
yep.
or I can send them a part of the evidence. That's basically the way I would share it with them. It's always good to compare notes with other paranormal investigators, especially when you're doing certain types of experiments, whether it's an EVP session or videotaping, or what we do, the Delco experiment is a sensory deprivation
Hmm.
experiment. So we got people doing it all over the US, and we actually have a blog where we have people share their thoughts because we want to see what kind of experiences they're getting as well and how it matches up with ours when it comes
Describe that a little bit.
to
Describe, because I find it fascinating. I think Mike did a terrific job putting that together. Mike is one member of your team,
yeah, our
Delco.
tech guy. Yep.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that process.
Okay, so basically the Delco is 2 experiments in one. It's a sensory deprivation experiment. Everyone's heard of the Estes method. So basically what we do is you have a spirit box, and a spirit box is like a transistor radio that can sweep through radio stations. And they say that spirits can communicate between the white noise, and you can adjust the speed. You can have it go backwards, forward,
Mhm.
FM, AM. So we have a subject that will put noise isolation headphones on, so that all they hear is what's coming through the spirit box.
Now, let me hold you up to just there. That's the essential Estes method, as we call it, is wearing
Right.
the noise canceling earphones, and then the person with those earphones on just spits out or announces whatever words they get off the spirit
Right.
box.
And then you have someone next to them that can't hear what they're saying, asking questions. So we're trying to
Correct.
see if we can get intelligent responses. And on top of that, with the Estes method, they wear a blindfold. But what we do is, instead of using the blindfold, we use what's called the Gansfield experiment that they use, I think, in the 70s to test for ESP with the ping pong balls and the red lights. And they did almost the same thing. As they had noise isolation headphones, but they were just blaring white noise through it. But instead, we're doing the spirit box. And then with the goggles, you can't see through them. So it's red light. They're red lenses, so you can't see through them. You can either have them on, you can have them strobing or flashing. But to tell you the truth, you think if you have them the craziest way strobing, that you get more things out of it. But to me, if they're just left on, I don't know. A lot of things like can happen. Everybody's different. There's some people, it works well with people who are sensitive. People feel like they've been touched. They'll see visuals. You're not supposed to close your eyes. You're supposed to stare into the red. And for me, like the wildest thing that ever happened to me, and Larry, you'll probably like this being a police officer and probably heard about it, is I think it was about 5 or 7 years ago. There was a man that was in Opelika, which is close to Miami, that
Know it well.
his wife strangled her with a tie wrap and then took a 6-year-old son and headed towards the Keys. They didn't make it to the Keys, but they made it to this place called the Last Chance Saloon that has a lot of activity, and pulled into a vacant lot. And the guy ended up strangling his son and then committing suicide. So I didn't know anything about this, and we were doing it like on stage, and I was able to say the sex. It was a boy, how old he was. And the wildest thing was I blurted out his last name. Like, how wild is that?
Yeah, and you knew nothing of this case.
Nothing of it until like I got out of it, and they were like, hey, we wanted to let you know you were like talking about things that were pertaining to a murder suicide that happened next door. And then the coolest thing is it's like at the end of the night, there's a police officer that always checks on them when they're closing because, he wants to make sure they're protected and they don't get robbed. So he happened to be the first officer there at the scene of the crime and actually took us there. And we were getting EVPs that was pertaining to what we were doing inside the bar. How crazy is that?
It is wild, but I want to go back to the method you were using. Were you using that method during this investigation?
Yep, we were doing the Delco experiment. Yep.
The Delco. Now, you said the red light. How you've got goggles on, because I want folks to get a visual of exactly what it was you did. And you mentioned ping pong balls, which,
well, we made them more of the times. Now they're just like regular goggles.
So you cut the ping pong balls in half, and okay, I got.
We don't even use ping pong balls. We have special. Mike has these goggles that he built with these lenses that light up, and in the back of the goggles there's a switch, and you can turn them off, you can turn them on, strobe them, flash them, and basically they're just goggles that light up in red, and when you're wearing them, that's all you see.
Yeah, man, that's the vision I wanted folks to get. Yeah, but that is definitely a wild story. So how long have you guys been using this method?
For a couple of years, and we've had some amazing results. Like that wasn't even one of them that would blow your mind. There's others. But the most important thing about this experiment is you got to get into a trance-like state. So what we do is when they're listening to the spirits, the SB7, the spirit box, and they have the goggles on, they're doing that before we start the questioning for 20 minutes. So they can like try to focus and meditate and try to get into a trance-like state.
Now, me being, and once again, this goes back to police training. We go through training, we go through retraining all the time. Do you have a protocol? Let's just say that the Delco method really took off. Do you have it documented on the best way to use it, best practices for using it? That may, because somebody's going to do what you're doing. They're going to see exactly what it is you've got going, and they're going to want to try it too.
Go to our website. We have the instructions in video.
That's what I want to know. Okay. Yeah. So there is a procedure, standard for using this method.
Yep. It's on our YouTube channel.
Excellent. See, and that's the one thing, and I think you and I have talked about it before. I really think that if everybody's going to investigate a little bit differently, but we've got to have some sort of structure. They might ask questions a little differently using the Delco method. But for them to be successful and to attain the same level of success that you guys did, they're good. They need to follow how you did it.
Yeah. And I don't even know if that's the right way to do it, but it's been working for us, and we're the only ones that have been doing it. So that's why we have that blog, so people can like put down their results so we can see all over the place how it's
Exactly.
going for them.
And somebody could very easily come up with a better angle to doing it, and
Of
they put it on
course.
there, and then that becomes the
We
norm or the
welcome it.
standard. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's something that I firmly believe that we've got to do more of in this business, whether it's with the Delco experiment or any other type of experiment. We've got to share each other's experiences and learn from each other.
Yeah.
That's how we grow. It's the only, in my opinion, that's the only way
Yeah.
we're
And the
we're
reason
gonna
why we
get
do
away.
this is because we want answers. We want to know what's on the other side. What happens after you die? We may never know until we do die, but at least we can try to do our best to get close to getting answers to some of the things.
How many teams out there do you think, Eric, the answers are only secondary?
Hmm.
And they're just in it for the
Oh,
thrill.
there's a lot. You go on YouTube. There are YouTubers that they're just doing it for entertainment. They're not doing it for the scientific perspective. I mean, I've been invited to do Paracons, and I mean, I don't think anyone can compete with us with a lot of people that are out there. And I'm not being like arrogant, but there's a lot of people out there that just do it for entertainment reasons, and they over exaggerate, and they may even fake things. A lot of things that you see, you don't believe.
You mean there's things on YouTube that aren't true?
Exactly. TV
Shock-
too.
No.
Yeah, don't believe everything you see on TV, folks.
Unless it's
Fake
paranormal
news.
stakeout. Unless it's paranormal stakeout, then
Exactly.
you can.
We're part of
at
Paranormal
least-
Radio.
or at least we're going to give it to you as truthfully as we know it.
Yeah,
and that can be a harm to everything that
yeah, it is.
you and we're trying to do. Wouldn't you agree?
I totally agree. That's why you got to you got to stick to your guns. Be skeptical of your evidence. Try to go through it. Don't just put anything out and assume that it's, paranormal. And don't fake things, because if you get caught faking something once, then that your reputation's gone. And
Well,
I believe we've built a good reputation. So
here's the other half of it too. A group does something to fake it, and it gets out, it taints all of us.
yeah, it does.
It makes us
Mhm.
all look like that. And once again, that's why I preach this and standardization and training. Come up with a framework for people to do things so that they
Mhm.
know if you're following that, you're doing it as
Yeah.
upfront and as
I
honestly
mean,
as you can.
I put up evidence and people have said, "Oh, that's fake because it's too good to be true."
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to please everyone, but at least I can be honest with my information and put it out there.
And that's all we
I
can
want
do.
to do. Yep.
But keeping working together, maybe we're going to come up with the methods that will be accepted, and most folks are going to start agreeing. Well, we're believe it or not, we're coming up on our third break here. We've only got one more section to go here. So folks, stay with us. I'm with Eric VANDERLAAN from War Party Paranormal. We've still got a little bit to go, so don't leave. We got some great things to talk about right after these messages. And we're back for round 4. Man, this hour has gone fast.
Yeah,
But do want to remind everybody to check us out at paranormalfbi.com or indianriverhauntings.com. Those are our websites that you can find out what we're doing. You can also see us on YouTube at Indian River Hauntings. But I also, and Facebook, don't forget Facebook for both Indian River Hauntings and Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation. But I want to really tell you, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions and your thoughts, your philosophies. Email me at ghostguy@paranormalstakeout.org and just fill out the form there, and we'll get your questions or thoughts on the air at the beginning of each show. Want to remind everybody else to check out Eric's site at warpartyparanormal.com. They've got all kinds of interesting things going on there. So with that, let's kind of, there's so much more to talk about, but I want to get your thoughts on some specific issues, things that crop up in our field that people, we have arguments about, even within the field. Your thoughts on orbs, Eric? Yeah,
I don't believe in orbs. A photo of an orb. If you have the manual of the Sony CyberShot, that old camera, the CyberShot, if you flip back to the back of the book, there's like an explanation on how orbs are created. So the thing is with orbs, especially with photos and videos, it's just basically dust, moisture. It could be bugs. I have seen an orb with my own eye only once that I can't explain. And okay, yeah, but I don't know. I've never seen anything that could be, that they say it's an orb that could be paranormal. I can always find an answer for that.
And would you agree that that's probably one of the longest running and contentious arguments we have in our own field amongst us? Is an orb a ball of energy, or is it a bug? And I tend to fall into line with you. It's a bug. It's bug. It's moisture. It's dust. My son Evan, I don't think you ever met him. We were at Ortona though with you folks. Well, I think that was the same night we almost went to
Belglade.
Belglade. We went up to Ortona, and it was that night. Evan actually saw a blue ball just go across the cemetery, and I will listen to that. I find if it's not in a photograph, you see it with your own eyes, it's a little tougher to explain at times. I mean, it could be St. Elmo's fire in some cases, but I don't believe that was what happened that night. So I tend to agree with you. I almost, as a quick side note, in the Ortona graveyard, I actually saw the most stunning shadow figure I've ever seen.
They're all over the place.
That place was nuts. Absolutely.
It dates back to 250 BC with Native Americans. There's burial mounds all over the place.
And and that's a whole nother topic we can talk about, is the true history in Florida, because we're such a new state. Nobody really knows the history.
We're really old, actually.
Yeah, we're very old, but that's a subject for another show. Probably one of the other more interesting arguments we have in the field, and I'd like to get your take on it, is the subject of intelligent and residual haunts.
Okay.
Is first of all, an intelligent, for folks that may not know what it is, you ask a question, you get an intelligent response, or you see something and they respond to you.
They're reacting to you.
Yeah. Sentient is another word for it, but they react to you. Residual or non-sentient haunt is almost like things on a loop on a video. They just keep playing over and over.
Record.
So my question to you, is a residual haunt actually a spirit, or is it trapped energy?
I think it's trapped energy. A lot of residuals can happen like at these old haunted buildings that could be like hundreds of years old. And I think that when something traumatic happens, or maybe when something happens over and over in history, it just keeps on going. Like, I think that like even like the wooden floors, if they're original, and the steps and things like that, I think they hold energy And a lot of times I think that could be the cause of residual energy. Like maybe hearing like footsteps going down the stairs, and it happens like often. It could be just something just that happened in the past and may not even be anything bad. It's just energy that's there.
That's
It's going off
that
and
that
on.
might be released at a certain time or when a certain event
Exactly.
occurs. But
Mhm.
my question is that a ghost? Is that actually a haunting? Or is it just a natural phenomenon that has some sort of scientific basis of energy being released?
I think it's just energy. I don't think it's a ghost because when you say it's a ghost or an apparition or a spirit, I think then that would be more of like an intelligent haunting if they're
Mhm.
reacting with you. I just think it's just trapped energy. I think it's just science. It's just something that's happening over and over again. No one's been able to clearly define it, but I've witnessed it before and it totally makes sense. Like if you're at a certain location and that does happen.
So should that kind of guide me? This is just kind of off the cuff question. Should that kind of guide how we're investigating a place? If you've got a spot that is the only manifestation, if you will, that's in there
Mhm.
is a residual type haunt where somebody sees a lady walking from point A to point B and
Right.
she doesn't react. Is it really a haunted place or is it just a place that's been able to store energy? Does that make sense? The question makes
Yeah,
sense?
and
Is it really haunted then?
I guess I wouldn't say it would be haunted, it's just energy, and you have to explain that to the people if they're looking for answers, because they could be terrified. They're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
we got something demonic in my house." If it is residual, you can explain that to them. That's gonna give them, peace of mind.
Yeah, because I've had discussions with some folks on this topic before, and I tend to go where you're going with this. It's not really a haunt so much as somehow scientifically, for lack of a better word, energy is somehow stored and released at certain times. But I've actually had some folks argue, no, it's almost like a ghost or a spirit being caught in a time warp, Groundhog Day, if you will, and they just keep
Yeah,
reliving it, but they're actually
but
spirits.
that's almost the same as energy happening over and over again, right?
Yeah, could be, and
Almost the same answer, I would think.
and this is one reason why we got to keep searching for answers because
Right,
we just don't know what all of this stuff um, is and where and what the end is, what the answers are, as you so well
right.
put. Now, third question I'm going to ask you is fishing a place out, and here's what I mean by that. Let's take Waverly Hills. Everybody knows it, so and I'm
Mhm.
not suggesting this, so I don't
Been
want.
there.
Yeah, but so many people go there to experience what happened.
Mhm.
Is there going to come a point where there's nothing happening anymore? Almost as if you fished out the pond. Uh,
I totally believe that, and I've had people, like, even tell me about it because Waverly Hills is, like, on everyone's bucket list.
yeah.
To tell you the truth, when I went there, I thought it was overrated. I did get something that I couldn't explain, but I was only there for one night. I was there from 8 PM to, like, almost 6 AM,
Mhm.
but it just wasn't enough time, and a lot of the claims, like, you've heard people say, like, "Oh, there's something demonic and there's something evil there." Like, I didn't sense that at all. All I sensed was sorrow, a lot of sadness. I even had, like I was getting EVPs that something that happened to me there where they were, like, joking around, like, they had a sense of
Mhm.
humor.
Mhm.
I don't think there's anything menacing there. I think it's just a lot of people died there. But I do believe that the more people go there, um, if there's actual spirits there, they were humans, right? They're gonna get tired of it. It's not gonna be a big deal. I don't know, that's how I look at it.
Well, I'm actually wanting to do some experiments along those same lines because I'm of the belief that yeah, if we are actually dealing with folks that were here before and they've somehow retained a human personality or their personality when they were here, they're going to
Mhm.
get tired of being looked at like circus animals.
Yeah,
Or maybe there's an energy issue. Maybe
I
so
got a
many
perfect
people.
example of that too at Waverly.
Okay.
And I think this is right up your alley, what you were saying is, so, like, everyone's been saying, like, "Oh, there's creepers." There's, like, these shadow figures that
Yeah.
crawl all over the wall and the
Hmm.
ceiling and everything. So, I happened to be going up the stairwell, And the only thing I have is like a red lens camera, so I can keep my night vision with my eyes. And I'm looking through my viewfinder on my camera through the IR, so I couldn't see very well. But I'm going up the staircase, and I'm seeing all the bats floating around. I'm from Florida, and our bats are really small. They're little fruit flats, but the bats up there are huge. So I stepped into the hallway, put 1 foot out in the hallway, and 2 bats flying sideways. They almost look like they were one. Goes right by me, and they were sputtering, but at a fast pace. And I'm like, I've never seen anything like that before, and I couldn't explain it. And it was so dark, I couldn't figure out what it was. And I'm thinking, okay, that was some type of shadow figure that I've never seen before. Like Mike was upstairs, my partner, 2 floors up, could hear me screaming. So we did get the answers. I looked at my video later, and it was 2 bats flying side by side. But before I saw the video, I went to the nurse's station back to that floor and did an EVP session. And the question I asked was, that thing that I saw in the hallway, was it human or inhuman? So I played back my recorder. Before I said the question, it said bat. After I said my question, it said bat, bat. Like, you idiot. It was a bat.
Okay. So maybe they do hear us, and maybe at times they even do get tired of us. So
Yeah.
in our last couple of minutes here, Eric, where do you think the field's heading? Where do you think we're going with all this? What do you think the future holds?
Well, look back, like, I don't know, going maybe like 5 or 10 years ago. Even before that, like, people didn't look at us like as serious investigators, and just look at all the type of equipment that's coming out and the type of evidence people are capturing. I mean, now everyone has a cell phone with a video camera on it. Like, people are getting crazy things now. So I think now people are starting to open their minds up, saying like, there is something that's out there. Look what everyone's capturing. So I think it's only going to go up. I mean, we'll never find the answers.
Oh, don't say that. I refuse to believe that. I never say never. But your point's well taken, and you're right. As technology improves and minds open up, perhaps we're going to get better. But
just trying to get close.
Just trying to okay, I'll accept that. We're trying to go. Well, I really appreciate you being with us here tonight, folks. Once again, how do people get a hold of you?
warpartyparanormal.com.
Go there, folks.
Find
out what they're doing. If you're in South Florida, if you're not going to come by and see us at Indian River Hauntings, go down and see them at War Party. Appreciate you being with us tonight, folks. Thank you, Eric, for being with us. Folks, stay with us until next time. Stay safe. Love your family, and we'll see you on the other side. Have a good night.